Have you ever stopped to consider the state of our American society and the role student protests play in shaping it? Let's delve into this a bit. Universities are the training grounds for our future leaders, the crucibles where raw idealism meets the cold reality of societal norms. And these norms are not always just or fair. Student protests from the civil rights movement of the 60s to the climate strikes of today have always been a vital force in challenging these norms. They are the voices that dare to say, "This isn't right, we can do better." They are the ones who question, who probe, who refuse to accept the status quo. Sure, they can be messy, and yes, they can be loud. But that's because they care. They care deeply about the world they are inheriting and the world they will leave behind for future generations. Students are here to say, "This isn't sitting well with me." And we should listen. But how do we, as adults, react to these student protests? Well, let's take a look at the recent past, shall we? In the whirlwind of the last few weeks, adults across various fields have responded to student protesters with an array of punitive measures. From suspensions and zip ties to violent police raids and arrests, the reactions have been, quite frankly, shocking. Take for instance the case of a peaceful demonstration on a prestigious university campus. The students were voicing their concerns about a range of issues, but instead of engaging in dialogue, the administration called in the police. The students were met with tear gas, rubber bullets, and zip ties. They were forcibly removed, their voices stifled in a place that should have been a haven for free expression and exchange of ideas. Then there was the high school protest against climate change. These students, passionate about the future of our planet, took to the streets with placards and chants. The reaction? Suspensions. The message was clear: stay in line or face the consequences. And who can forget the violent police raid on a student sit-in protest? The students were advocating for fair wages for university staff. The response was a police raid in the dead of night, with students being dragged out of the building and arrested. The images were a stark reminder of just how far some will go to quell dissent. These reactions are not just violent, but they are also unjust. They are reactions that stifle voices, that suppress the very essence of what it means to be a part of a democratic society. They are reactions that go against the fundamental rights of expression and protest. We're proving again and again that we're not up to the task. We're the adults, not them. We're supposed to guide, to offer wisdom, to foster growth. But instead, we're trying to silence the voices that dare to question, that dare to demand change. We're choosing to react with force rather than engage with understanding. We're choosing to suppress rather than educate. And that, my friends, is a problem. So what can we do better? Let's start with understanding. Understanding that these students, with their fiery passion and boundless energy, are not our enemies. They are our children, our students, our future. They are the raw idealists, the ones who dare to question, to challenge, to shake up the established norms. They are the ones who remind us that our comfort zones might not be as comfortable for everyone else. Let's continue with empathy. Empathy for the young minds grappling with the complexities of the world, trying to make sense of the injustices, the inequalities, the brutalities. Empathy for their frustrations, their fears, their hopes and dreams. Yes, they might be messy, they might be petty, they might be prone to fads. But aren't we all? Didn't we all once wear the shoes they are now filling? Let's proceed with respect. Respect for their courage to stand up, to speak out, to face the consequences. Respect for their willingness to engage, to argue, to protest. They are learning just as we are, just as we were. They are learning about the world, about themselves, about us. And sometimes the lessons are hard, the realities are harsh, the truths are bitter. Let's end with action. Action that is not about suppression, but about support. Action that is not about domination, but about dialogue. Action that is not about punishment, but about patience. We need to listen to their voices, their concerns, their demands. We need to engage with them, negotiate with them, learn from them. And most importantly, we need to remember that we are the adults. We have the experience, the wisdom, the responsibility. We have the power to guide, to mentor, to inspire. We have the duty to foster an environment where they can grow, where they can thrive, where they can be themselves. It's time for us to grow up, to respond appropriately, to listen and learn, because these students, they're not just our future, they are our present.